news-making exclusive. Now reporting from Madison, Wisconsin, George Stephanopoulos.
I love how they're trying to make this, they're like trying to hype up this interview as much as they can. They're like, this new exclusive reporting, never seen before, crazy news with Joe Biden. And the actual interview is going to be like, oh, well, listen, Jack, you're going to go. Anyways, the Medicare.
Good evening from Madison, Wisconsin for a special edition of This Week. The first broadcast interview with President Biden since last week's debate. Earlier this afternoon, we taped the 22-minute interview. There are no cuts, no edits. We have not touched him. At this pivotal moment in the presidential campaign.
Did they say we have not? I thought he said we have not touched him. I was like, if that's your pride, okay.
Campaign, here it is.
Hands off, Jack.
Mr. President, thank you for doing this.
Thank you for having me.
Let's start with the debate. You and your team have said you had a bad night, but your friend Nancy Pelosi actually framed the question that I think is on the minds of millions.
What is this like background static in this video?
Millions of Americans. Was this a bad episode or the sign of a more serious condition?
It's a bad episode. No indication of any serious condition. I was exhausted. I didn't listen to my instincts in terms of preparing, and I had a bad night.
You know, you say you were exhausted, and I know you said.
What is the noise on this? What is the noise gate on this? What? How do I make this go away? Oh my God. Is this what they meant when they said we didn't edit it? Please edit it. They had to crank the gain. Okay, we'll try and do our best to ignore it. If anyone has like a Google Chrome extension that fixes this, please link it. Christ. This shit got more static than a T1 stream. Also, what does he mean it was just an episode? See, when you say episode, you are suggesting it'll happen again.
As well, but you came, and you did have a tough month, but you came home from Europe about 11 or 12 days before the debate, spent 6 days in Camp David. Why wasn't that enough rest time, enough recovery time?
Because I was sick. I was feeling terrible. Matter of fact, the docs with me, I asked if they did a COVID test because they were trying to figure out what was wrong. They did a test to see whether or not I had some infection, you know, a virus. I didn't. They just had a really bad cold.
And did you ever watch the debate afterwards?
I don't think I did, no.
Well, what I want to get at is what were you experiencing as you were going through the debate? Did you know how badly it was going?
Oh, yeah, look. The whole way I prepared, nobody's fault, mine. Nobody's fault but mine. I prepared what I usually would do, sitting down, as I did come back with foreign leaders or the National Security Council for explicit detail. And I realized about partway through that, you know, although I get quoted, the New York Times had me down.
I'm glad he told us that he didn't. I'm happy to hear that he didn't watch the debate back.
Down at 10 points before the debate, 9 now, or whatever the hell it is. The fact of the matter is that what I looked at is that he also lied 28 times. I couldn't, I mean, the way the debate ran, not my fault, no one else's fault, no one else's fault.
But it seemed like you were having trouble from the first question in, even before he spoke.
Well, I just had a bad night.
I like how he just admitted it. He was like, I'm not even going to fight you on this. It seemed like you started off on a bad foot. Yeah, I did. Mayor Cat.
You've had some bad interviews once in a while. I can't remember any, but I'm sure you did.
I've had plenty. I guess
the vibes on this interview are so awkward. Is anyone else getting that vibe? What's the yeah, I'm sure you've had bad interviews. No, not that I know any. I have. So I guess I'm asking, what? I feel like I'm watching a conversation between like a shepherding dog and his owner. And he's like, I don't know, man, you haven't been doing so well. I'm gonna have to take you out back, you know? And he's like, no, it was just one bad night, okay? It was just one bad night.
The question, the problem is here for a lot of Americans watching is you've said, going back to 2020, watch me, to people who are concerned about your age. And, you know, 50 million Americans watched that debate. It seemed to confirm fears they already had.
Well, look, after that debate, I did 10 major events in a row, including until 2 o'clock in the morning after that debate. I did events in North Carolina. I did events in Georgia. Did events like this today. Large crowds, overwhelming response, no slipping. And so I just had a bad night.
No slipping. No slipping.
I don't know why.
And how quickly did it come to you that you were having that bad night?
Well, it came to me as having a bad night when I realized that even when I was answering a question, even though they turned his mic off, he was still shouting. And I let it distract me. I'm not blaming it on that. But I realized that I just wasn't in control.
But part of the other concern is that this seems to have fit into a pattern of decline that has been reported on recently. New York Times had...
Okay, hold up, guys. I have to see something. We're at 4 minutes. Wait. Is there a version of this interview that doesn't sound like shit? I thought maybe it would get better, but it didn't. Is there a version where it was slightly edited, maybe? Sadly, no. And they're all going to be like this? Oh my God, look at this terrifying ad at any distance. That's why I said 1.5x speed. Okay, maybe you were cooking. Maybe we got to put it on 1.25. I don't know. Maybe. Maybe this version is better?
Well, I just had a bad night. You've had some bad interviews once in a while. I can't.
It's not better. Is it better? Maybe it's a little better?
At least that may be coming to fruition. I was also the guy.
This version has good audio. I feel like you're trolling me.
Wake up. Joe Biden, wake up.
One of the things that I strongly believe is
Joe Biden, wake up.
I should probably go home. I'm tired.
Joe Biden, wake up.
Joe. I'm tired.
Joe Biden.
What's happening?
Joe Biden.
What's happening?
The running.
Hello, Mr. President. Wake up. The total initiative relative to what we're going to do with more border patrol and more asylum officers.
President Trump?
I really don't know what he said at the end of those sentences. I don't think he knows what he said either.
Wake up.
Stupid. Okay. I don't think that quality is really any better, so we're going to go back to this video.
Had a headline on July 2nd, Biden's lapses.
Is it better? Oh my God, this is bothering me.
I'm not blaming it on that, but I
think it's maybe a little better. Okay, we're going back. We're
that continuing. I just wasn't in control.
But part of the other concern is that this seems to have fit into a pattern of decline that has been reported on recently. New York Times had a headline on July 2nd, Biden's lapses are said to be increasingly common and worrisome. Here's what they wrote. People who have spent time with President Biden over the last few months or so said the lapses appear to have grown more frequent, more pronounced, and after Thursday's debate, more worrisome. By many accounts, as evidenced by video footage, observation, and interviews, Mr. Biden is not the same today as he was even when he took office 3.5 years ago. Similar reporting in the Washington Post and the Wall Street Journal. Are you the same man today that you were when you took office 3.5 years ago?
In terms of successes, yes. I also was the guy who put together a peace plan for the Middle East that may be coming to fruition. I was also the guy that expanded NATO. I was also the guy that grew the economy. All the individual things that were done were ideas I had or I fulfilled.
I feel like if presidents say that they grew the economy, we should be allowed to, like, put them in jail. Let's say. Isn't that, like, first of all, isn't that part of your job? Okay. Isn't that part of your job already? Second, every president says that.
I moved on. And so, for example, you know, well, that was true then. What's Biden done lately? Today, just announced 200,000 new jobs. We're moving in a direction that no one's ever taken on. I know you know this from the days in the government. I took on Big Pharma. I beat them. No one said I could beat them. I took on all the things we said we got done. We were told we couldn't get done. And part of it is what I said when I ran was I wanted to do 3 things. Restore some decency to the office.
Okay. We didn't do that one. All right. No decency restored to the office. Let's see number 2.
Restore some support for the middle class instead of trickle-down economics built from the middle.
Okay. We didn't do that one either. Okay.
Out and the bottom up. The way the wealthy still do fine, everyone does better, and unite the country.
But what has
unite the country? We're definitely more united than we've ever been, for sure. Yeah. For sure, we got decency, we got middle class, we got united country, for sure. Is this the part where y'all turn on him? See, that would have required us to back him in the first place. But the problem is we hate this guy, and we've hated him since he was on the 2020 ballot. Okay. Well, I mean, some of us have hated him long before then. Some of us have hated him since Crime Bill, but I'm glad you're catching up. I'm glad you're catching up. You can join us. We do in fact dislike Joe Biden party here. So come on in. Water's warm, bro. It's fine. Come on in.
All that work over the last 3.5 years cost you physically, mentally, emotionally?
Well, I just think it cost me a really bad night, bad run. But, you know, George, I'm optimistic about this country. I don't think we're a country of losers that he points out. I don't think America's in tough shape. I think America's on the cusp of breaking through in so many incredible opportunities. This next term, I'm going to make sure we have straighten out the tax system. I'm going to make sure we're in a situation where we have health care for all people, where we're in a position where we have child care and elder care, free up, and all these things. One thing I'm proudest of is, remember when my economic plan was put forward, a lot of the mainstream economists said it's not going to work. Well, guess what? We now have 16 Nobel laureates, 16 of them in economics, saying that Biden's next term would be, based on what he wants to do, enormous success. Trump's plan would cause a recession, would significantly increase inflation. I've made great progress, and that's what I plan on doing, and we can do this.
I understand that, and I'm not disputing that. What I'm asking you is about your personal situation. Do you dispute that there have been more lapses, especially in the last several months?
Can I run the 110 flat? No, but I'm still in good shape.
Are you more frail?
No.
I know you spoke.
Keep my schedule.
I know you spoke with your doctor after the debate. What did he say?
He said, he just looked at me and said, "You're exhausted." I said, "Look, I have medical doctors travel me everywhere, every president does."
I'm sorry, I'm just still laughing at the no, Omega lol. We gotta go back.
He said, he just looked at me and said, "You're exhausted." I said, "Look, I have medical doctors travel me everywhere, every president does, as you know. Medical doctors, some of the best in the world, travel me everywhere I go. I have an ongoing assessment of what I'm doing." They don't
He's got an ongoing assessment of what he's doing. Okay, can I speak my truth, King? Okay. He's old. Give him a break. How about some? Never mind. No, guys, we don't threaten violence on this channel. All right. Never have we ever threatened violence on this channel, and we never will. All right. I was not going to make any jokes about breaking anything. Not that I would have to, because he's going to break his own hip in like 2 days. Moving on. There was a time, actually someone posted it on Twitter, although I like so many posts on Twitter, it's probably gone forever now, but it was a side-to-side of Joe Biden 2019 and Joe Biden 2024 from this year. And man, he really has gone downhill. Like, it really, really, really has gone downhill. He was out of it in 2019. No, he had a stutter in 2019. He had, like, normal misspeaks that anybody has in 2019. But I don't know if it's the COVID or the dementia or the COVID or the dementia or just like old age. But look at this.
I continue to think we have to make fundamental changes in civil rights. And those civil rights, by the way, include not just only African Americans, but the LGBT community.
He wants to get away with, get rid of the ability of Medicare for the ability to, for the...
I did not oppose busing in America. What I opposed is busing ordered by the Department of Education. That's what I oppose.
Making sure that we're able to make every single solitary person eligible for what I've been able to do with.
Like, I didn't like him in 2019 either, to be very clear. I still don't think that he, I mean, I don't think there's a single candidate that could be on the ballot that would make a good president right now. But he was saying full sentences. He wasn't whispering into the microphone. He wasn't getting lost and confused in the middle of a sentence.
The with the COVID, excuse me, with dealing with everything we have to do with. Look, if you will determine the outcome of this election, vote, vote, vote. If you're able to vote early in your state, vote early. If you're able to vote in person, vote in person. Vote whatever way is the best way for you, because you will. He cannot stop you. And I'm going to continue.
Do you see what I mean? Do you see what I mean? Like, if you guys want to cope and be Delulu and be like, no, he's always been this senile. Hey, he was this senile before. I mean, please be my guest. But there was something in there that was working. There were some cylinders firing. There were a couple. He was still too old to be in office, in my opinion. I don't think we should be having anyone that's like over the age of 70. And like, he had like an occasional stutter. He had an occasional like misspeak. We all have misspeaks. It's totally normal, right? But like the difference is crazy. The difference is insane. Would you let him be your bus driver? Hell no. Hell no, he would not be my bus driver. Are you crazy? The stuttering coming back is definitely a product of getting older for sure, yeah. Denims, you're coping. He's gone way downhill, but it was already bad in 2020. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. Got it. Let me just pretend like I didn't see this video. 1 second. Let me Men in Black myself really quickly. Yeah, he's always been bad. I mean, honestly, he came out of the womb demented. He came out of the womb with dementia. Honestly. Honestly, just like, why would we? No. He's always been that way.
Hesitate to tell me if they think there's something wrong.
I know you said you have an ongoing assessment. Have you had a full neurological and cognitive evaluation?
I get a full neurological test every day with me. And I've had a full physical. I had, I've been at Walter Reed for my physicals. Yes. The answer is
I know your doctor said he consulted with a neurologist. I guess I'm asking a slightly different question. Have you had the specific cognitive tests, and have you had a neurologist, a specialist, do an examination?
No one said I had to. No one said, they said I'm good.
Would you be willing to undergo an independent medical evaluation that included neurological and cognitive tests and release the results to the American people?
Look, I have a cognitive test every single day. Every day I have that test. Everything I do. Not only am I campaigning, but I'm running the world. And that's not how it sounds like hyperbole. But we are the essential nation in the world. Madeleine Albright was right. And every single day, for example, today, before I come out here, I'm on the phone with the Prime Minister of, anyway, I shouldn't get into detail, but with Netanyahu. I'm on the phone with the new Prime Minister of England. I'm working on what we're doing with regard to, in Europe, with regard to expansion of NATO and whether it's going to stick. I'm taking on Putin. Every day, there's no day I go through, there are not those decisions I have to make every single day. And you have been doing that, and the American people have been watching, yet their concerns about your age and your health are growing. So that's why I'm asking, to reassure them, would you be willing to have the independent medical evaluation? Watch me there's a lot of time left in this campaign. It's over 125 days. So the answer, make a decision. The right answer right now is no, you don't want to do that right now. I've already done it. You talked a lot about your...
Oh, no. I don't need to do it again. I already did it.
Successes at the beginning of this interview, and I don't want to dispute that. I don't want to debate that. But as you know, elections are about the future, not the past. They're about tomorrow, not yesterday. And the question on so many people's minds right now is, can you serve effectively for the next 4 years? George, I'm the guy that put NATO together, the future.
I'm sorry, Biden put NATO together? Really? Really? How did that work? George, the guy that put NATO together. I get it. You look old enough to have done it, but George, I'm Batman. What the?
No one thought I could expand it. I'm the guy that shut Putin down. No one.
Why is he talking like this?
I don't have time for sex these days because I have to read course outlines. I'm practicing celibacy.
Wait, Grandpa, sit down.
I thought could happen. I'm the guy that put together the South Pacific Initiative with AUKUS. I'm the guy that got 50 nations out, not only in Europe, outside of Europe as well, to help Ukraine. I'm the guy that got Japanese to expand their budget. These, and for example.
I'm sorry, what? Wait, I'm sorry, what? You're not that guy, Joe. Like, you're not him. This guy thinks he's him. He made Japan expand their budget. Single-handedly, yes.
When I decided we used to have 40% of the computer chip, and we invented the chip, that little chip. The computer. decided we used to have 40% of the computer chip.
We used to have 40% of the computer chip.
We invented the chip.
And we invented the chip, the little chip.
Computer chip. It's in everything from cell phone to weapons.
What does he mean by we used to have 40% of the chip and also that we invented it?
So we used to have 40%. We're down to virtually nothing. So I get in the plane against the advice of everybody, and I fly to South Korea. I convinced them to invest in the United States billions of dollars. Now we have tens of billions.
Oh, he's saying we used to have 40% of the market share of like computer chip production. All he said was, we used to have 40% of the chip, which did not explain that to me.
Dollars being invested in the United States, making us back in a position where we're going to own that industry again. We have, I mean, I just, anyway.
I'm sorry, this is crazy. Biden on cognitive exam. No one said I had to.
I don't want to take too much credit. I have a great staff.
But I guess my point is, all that takes a toll. Do you have the mental and physical capacity to do it for another 4 years?
I believe so. I wouldn't be running if I didn't think I did. Look, I'm running again because I think I understand best what has to be done to take this nation to a completely new level. We're on our way. We're on our way. And look, the decision recently made by the Supreme Court on immunity, you know, the next president of the United States, it's not just about whether he or she knows what they're doing. It's not about a conglomerate of people making decisions. It's about the character of the president. The character of the president is going to determine whether or not this Constitution is employed the right way.
Guys, it's so simple. The character of the president is going to determine whether or not this Constitution is employed in the right way. Even a child could see that. Even a child could see that. Senescence is the word of the day.
And we should note that ABC News offered Donald Trump the same opportunity for a one-on-one interview, and he declined. We'll have more of George Stephanopoulos.
Ah, of course, yes. Donald Trump does great in interviews. This is like so silly. You know, Biden might be looking really bad right now in our studio, but, you know, Trump declined. Trump is great at interviews. He's great at interviews.
Stephanopoulos' exclusive interview with President Biden in just 60 seconds. Stay with us.
Many people are saying that he's the best at interviews, actually. What is all this garbage in the middle? Give me back to my debate.
George Stephanopoulos.
Give me back to my interview.
This exclusive interview with President Joe Biden.
A lot of y'all still don't get it. Ape holders can still use multiple slurp juices on a single ape. Can someone please give free Plan B and gift some? Dude, this is the best chatter. Best chatter of today, at least. Okay? Man deserves, or envy, or woman, man, camera, person, TV, deserves. Okay? Some are saying he's the greatest interview of all interviews. I guess some are saying, many are saying, I would say, many.
Let me ask you a tougher
Straw man me, bro. Thank you. Thank you. I'm gonna run that back for me for my dyslexic ass.
personal question. Are you sure you're being honest with yourself when you say you have the mental and physical capacity to serve another 4 years?
Yes, I am, because, George, the last thing I want to do is not be able to meet that. I think, as some of the senior economists and senior foreign policy specialists say, if I stop now, I'd go down in history as a pretty successful president.
This static is so bad. Okay, we're trying an extension, dude. We're trying a fucking extension. We're gonna try. We're gonna try looking for some extension because this static is dog shit, dude. Oh my god. And his mic is cranked. I know, but like, do they not have any other way to fucking make him sound louder without just turning the gain up? Jesus. Maybe I can make it better for you guys. Maybe. Properties. No. Might not be able to make it better for me, but I might be able to make it better for you guys. Are we looking for a noise gate? Or noise suppression? I think noise suppression. Okay, tell me if this is better for you guys.
No one thought I could get done when we got done.
But are you being honest with yourself as well about your ability to defeat Donald Trump right now?
Yes. Yes, yes, yes.
It's still shit for me, but thankfully OBS has the ability to add noise suppression. Thank God. Have we discussed the huge announcement? No, we're holding. We're holding.
Say that, and let me challenge you. Because you were close, but behind going into the debate. You're further behind now by any measure. It's been a two-man race for several months. Inflation has come down. In those last few months, he's become a convicted felon. Yet you're still falling further behind.
You guys keep saying that.
This is an interview? This is slaughter. Oh my God. Crazy how the network could have just simply done what took you 10 seconds. Listen, they were too busy making Biden look like an idiot. You know, it's crazy that you were up this many points and then you dropped after the debate and you're losing against a convicted felon. You guys keep saying that.
George, do you know polling better than anybody? You think polling data is accurate as it used to be?
I don't think so, but I think when you...
We're pulling the fake news card now, huh? Let's see how it plays out. A bold strategy.
You look at all the polling data right now, it shows that he's certainly ahead in the popular vote, probably even more ahead in the battleground states. And one of the other key factors there is it shows that in many of the battleground states, the Democrats who are running for Senate and the House are doing better than you are.
Well, that's not unusual in some states. I carried an awful lot of Democrats last time I ran in 2020. Look, I remember them telling me the same thing in 2020. I can't win. The polls show I can't win. Remember 2020, the red wave was coming. Before the vote, I said, that's not going to happen. We're going to win. We did better in an off year than almost any incumbent president ever has done. They said in 2023, all the tough races, we're not going to win.
What is this new static that's appearing? This interview is so fucking dog shit. Oh my God. No name George, thank you for the tier 1. Absolutely sounds like AI Biden. AI Biden is more coherent than this.
Those areas, all those districts that we won.
You know, honestly, it might have been a strategy. Can I just, this might be a little conspiratorial, might be a little bit tinfoily for you guys, but can I suggest something? I feel like the audio technicians at the end were like, well, actually, I feel like the execs at the end were like, yo, Biden did not do well in this interview. What do we do? And they were like, what if we make the audio so awful, no one wants to listen to it? That way, no one knows how poorly he performed. NP Sharky, thank you for the 18 months. Biden says he'll become president again. Feels like a threat. It does. It does.
All that is true, but 2020 was a close race. And your approval rating has dropped significantly since then. I think the last poll I saw was about 36%. The number of Americans who think you're too old to serve has doubled since 2020. Wouldn't a clear-eyed political calculus tell you that it's going to be much tougher to win in 2024?
Not when you're running against a pathological liar.
You were running against that last time too. What are you talking about? I am omnivore. Thank you for the 3 months.
Not when he hadn't been challenged in a way that he's about to be challenged. Not when people...
You've had months to challenge him.
Oh, I sure had months, but I was also doing a hell of a lot of other things, like wars around the world, like keeping NATO together, like working anyway. But look,
do you really believe you're not behind right now?
I think it's all the pollsters I talk to tell me it's a toss-up. It's a toss-up. And when I'm behind...
Well, all the pollsters that I talk to say I have a good chance. Yes, I'd pay them. Why are you asking?
There's only one poll I'm really far behind. CBS poll and NBC, and...
New York Times and NBC both have you about 6 points behind in the popular vote.
That's exactly right. New York Times had me behind before anything happened to do with this race. Had me behind 10 points. 10 points had me behind. Nothing's changed substantially in the debate, the New York Times poll.
Just when you look at the reality, though, Mr. President, I mean, you won the popular vote in 2020, but it was still deadly close in the electoral college.
7 million votes.
Yes, but you're behind now in the popular vote.
I don't buy that.
Is it worth the risk?
I don't think anybody's more qualified to be president or win this race than me.
You know,
Okay. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I can think of, like, okay, I know that the whole, like, don't care voting jank is a total meme, but unironically, jank is more suitable for office. I'm more suitable for office. Chat, you are more suitable for office. Anyone who can string together sentences without any difficulty is more suitable for office. Okay, extreme stoners do not interact. Maybe you, maybe not so much. But, like, honestly, why would you want to? Sounds like a lot of work. Oh, my God. B, for your thoughts. Thank you for the tier 1. Thank you.
The heart of your case against Donald Trump is that he's only out for himself, putting his personal interest ahead of the national interest. How do you respond to critics who say that by staying in the race, you're doing the same thing?
Oh, come on.
Oh, come on.
Well, I don't think those critics know what they're talking about.
They're just wrong?
They're just wrong. Look, Trump is a pathological liar. Trump is, he is... You ever seen anything Trump did?
Why talk about how suitable he is when he can talk about how Trump is a liar and then fail to talk about it? Incredible. Dom, thank you for the 21 months. Thank you.
Benefit of somebody else, not him. You can't answer, I know.
I've questioned him and his allies as persistently as any journalist has.
No, I know you have. I'm not being critical.
Yeah.
I'm not being critical. But look, I mean, the man is a congenital liar. As I said, they pointed out in that debate he lied.
Congenital liar? I don't know if that's a thing. I guess I don't know enough. Is that a thing? Congenital just means since birth? No, I understand what it means. I'm saying I don't think that that's a genetic thing. I don't think you have, like, the lying gene or the truth-telling gene. Unless it's just, like, some ancient manner of speech. It's just an expression? Oh, okay, maybe it's just an expression. Maybe it's just an expression. I think he means pathological. I feel like pathological makes more sense. Of all things, Denims, I don't think that that's something to harp on. Wrong. My job is literally to harp on things, okay? But to be honest, you harping on me, I don't think that that's something to harp on. No, it doesn't feel so good, does it? That's right, bitch. Sit in the box. Sit in the bandbox. See how that feels for you. Yeah, it doesn't feel so good. You will power my cube, slave. Keep going. I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding. But I'm not kidding about him getting banned, though. Real.
27, 28 times the times, or whatever number, over 20 times. Talk about how good his economy was, how he brought down inflation, how this is the guy who, unlike only other president other than him is Hoover, lost more jobs than he created. This is the guy who told us to put bleach in our arms to deal with COVID when over a million people died. This is a guy who talks about wanting to get rid of the healthcare provisions we put in place. This is a guy who wants to give the power back to big pharma, to be able to charge exorbitant prices for drugs. This is a guy who wants to undo every single thing I've done. Every single thing.
I understand that. I understand that's why you want to stay in the race. But have you convinced yourself that only you can defeat him?
I convinced myself of two things. I'm the most qualified person to beat him, and I know how to get things done.
If you can be convinced that you...
What? What?
cannot defeat Donald Trump, will you stand down?
It depends on if the Lord Almighty comes out and tells me that, I might do that.
Well, I mean, on a more practical level, Washington Post just reported in the last hour that Senator Mark Warner is assembling a group of senators together to try and convince you to stand down because they don't think you can win.
Well, Mark is a good man. We've never had that. He also tried to get the nomination too. Mark and I have a different perspective. I respect him.
And if Chuck Schumer and Hakeem Jeffries and Nancy Pelosi come down and say, we're worried that if you stay in the race, we're going to lose the House and the Senate, how will you respond?
I go into detail with them. I've spoken to all of them in detail, including Jim Clyburn. Every one of them. They all said I should stay in the race. Stay in the race. No one said, none of the people said, you should leave the race. They do.
Oh, so if they tell you that you should drop out, what are you going to say? Well, I was spoken to them. They said I wouldn't. Well, if they say that you should, what are you going to do?
It's like, we're not going to do that.
You sure?
Yeah, I'm sure. Look, I mean, if the Lord Almighty came out and said, Joe, get out of the race, I get out of the race, the Lord Almighty's not coming down. I mean, these hypotheticals, George, but
it's not that hypothetical.
Wait, okay, like low-key? Low-key, that kind of goes hard, though. God himself needs to tell me to step down. Wait, that is actually kind of hard. Like, I would, like, low-key, I would say shit like that. That is kind of crazy. It's also not that crazy of a hypothetical, though. Like, it's actually not that crazy of a hypothetical.
Hypothetical anymore. I grant that they have not requested the meeting, but it's been reported.
I've met with them. I've met with a lot of these people. I've talked with them regularly. I had an hour conversation with Hakeem. I had more time than that with Jim Clyburn. I spent time with many hours off and on the last little bit with Chuck Schumer. It's not like I had all the governors. All the governors.
I agree that the Lord Almighty is not going to come down, but if you are told reliably from your allies, from your friends and supporters in the Democratic Party, in the House and the Senate, that they're concerned you're going to lose the House and the Senate if you stay in, what will you do?
I'm not going to answer that question. It's not going to happen.
What's your plan to turn the campaign around?
Saw it today. How many people do you draw crowds like I drew today? You find me any more enthusiastic than today? Huh?
I mean, I don't think you want to play the crowd game. Donald Trump can draw big crowds. There's no question about that.
He can draw a big crowd, but what's he say? Who's he have?
Oh my God, this is so bad. I was in the rally in Madison. There was probably less than 300 people total. They packed everyone in a tiny middle school gymnasium. They never addressed the pro-Palestine protesters outside. 2 attendees tried to protest inside while he was speaking, and he got shut down by Secret Service. I think the people inside were actually protesting his age, though. Incredible.
I'm the guy supposedly in trouble. We raised $38 million within 4 days after this. We have over 1 million individual contributors. Individual contributors. That's less than $200. I mean, I've not seen what you're proposing.
You haven't seen the fall off in the polls. You haven't seen the reports of discontent in the Democratic Party, House Democrats, Senate Democrats.
I've seen it from the press.
So much to analyze.
So right, Jane. There's just so much to analyze there. There's just so much.
So for more insight on this interview, we're joined now by contributing political correspondent.
That's it. They ended the interview. We don't get the rest of it. I guess he must have trailed off and said nothing useful. I'm assuming. I'm assuming.
Bade, who's also on.
I think that was supposed to be a preview. Do I want to see the not preview?
Author of the Politico Playbook.
No, that was the full interview? Yeah.
Thanks for joining us.
I would be here.
I know that every source you have in Washington is going through the tea leaves and looking at it. Is there anything you or they saw tonight that is moving the needle on this? And is even a perfect performance going to move the needle?
Yeah, I was hearing even before this interview aired that a perfect performance would sort of just prolong the inevitable right now. That, you know, Biden from the debate is so damaged that people will not forget what happened last Thursday, even if he, you know, has the best interview possible here. And because of that sort of line of thinking, I would say that what we saw tonight is actually one of the worst possible scenarios for Democrats. He didn't do so bad that it's obvious and a whole bunch of Democrats are going to come out, go on record and say it's time for you to step aside. But he didn't do...
No, I think he did that bad. No, I think he did that bad. I don't think he can really do much worse than that. The only way he could have done worse is if he showed up, like, ass naked and just started throwing shit at the fucking interviewers, or, like, with the debate. What's the term for them? Sorry, I have COVID. COVID brain fog is kind of killing me. Please have some patience with me. Debate moderators. If he, like, started, like, going full monkey and just throwing feces at the moderators. I think that was the only way that he could have done worse, I guess. I don't know, Denims, that would show more energy than what he just did now.
So amazingly that people are going to forget this. And so they're in this sort of limbo scenario. So, I mean, look, it wasn't as bad as last Thursday, but certainly not great. And that means more Democrats will still have concern.
And you know that on Capitol Hill, we're hearing about what Senator Warner's doing. We're hearing that Hakeem Jeffries is meeting with people. What do you think will come out of these meetings? What are you hearing?
Yeah, so I think next week is going to be a crazy week, Juju. I mean, the lawmakers have been out for, what, a week now for congressional recess. This means they could avoid the press, they can avoid the cameras, not have to weigh in. But at some point, they're not going to be able to hide anymore. And a lot of people have been talking on background, they've been talking off the record, and they've been very blunt, thinking that, you know, the Biden campaign, the presidency, his presidential campaign is essentially dead. And so we're going to see, I think, a lot more lawmakers come out. I think, you know, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, they're hearing from a lot of concerned members. And these aren't just random members here. I mean, Mark...
Like, I'm going to be honest. Maybe the Lord will come to him in his dreams and tell him to drop out. We got to pull, like a Mr. Krabs, SpongeBob sort of ordeal where we pretend to be God. Like, show up when he's in his pajamas and be like, oh, this is God speaking. You have to drop out right now. Right now. Oh, my God, Jack. What are you doing here? Floating shopping list. Right now? Right now. Oh my God. Oh my God. Corn Pop, is that you? It's like the Christmas Carol, but summer instead. Yeah. I saw this one meme that was like, it's the, it's over when I say it's over. Meme. I can't find it, but it's the Breaking Bad meme that's like, it's over when I say it's over. And it's Walt talking to Saul. Except Walt is Jill Biden and Saul is Joe Biden. Oh, God. Someone saw a tweet that said, just take him to a CVS and get someone on the intercom. He won't know the difference. Oh, God. Jesus. God. Addie Slim Thinker to 25 months. Kamala is Jesse then? Correct. Man, this is like terrible. I'm going to be honest.
Warner, the chair of the Intelligence Committee, he helps Joe Biden get his agenda through Congress. He has a lot of respect.
And this is friendly fire. This is a lot going on. Rachel Bade, thank you so much for your insights, as always.
Of course.
Now let's bring in our ABC senior White House correspondent, Selena Wang. Selena, some people were calling this interview a televised cognitive test. How did the president score?
Well, look, this certainly did not quell the panic within the Democratic Party. In fact, it may have increased the schisms here. Now you have the camp of those who think that the president was just fine, that this is how President Biden normally is. And then the other camp who believe that this really underscores the challenges of his candidacy, that he didn't do enough to turn this around. I've been speaking with some donors and allies here who say that this didn't really change the status quo. Yes, it was far better than he did on that disastrous debate, but he didn't do enough to stem the damage here. And you, of course, have lawmakers, donors, and allies who are really waiting out on the sidelines, watching to see how he does in these rallies, in this critical interview, to decide if they want to continue supporting the president or if they want to join the growing chorus of those who are publicly calling him to step aside.
And how united is the support inside the White House? What are you hearing from your sources about how the president's interview went tonight?
Yeah, I was just talking to the White House, and they're calling this a solid interview.
Dude, how do I get me some fucking homies like this, dude? The homies at the White House, they got this guy's back. How do I get me some real ones like this who stand behind me no matter what?